This is a podcast for our evaluation of question 1, which asks us, in what ways does your media product use, develop and challenge the forms and conventions of real media products? Which also means, in what ways does your music video and digipack use, develop and challenge the norms of real music videos and also digipacks?
I think that our videos is really simple, and even though it's uses various different things half and half narrative and performance kind of thing, and there's a distinct difference, it still is simple.
Although it's simple, I do think it's very effective. It's got a clear storyline. You, as an audience, you'd be able to see what is going on in the music video, but you can also enjoy the performance part at the same time.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what you find in this kind of genre of music as well, which is kind of what we went for initially when drawing up our plan and stuff.
And also I think the repetition of the camera angles sort of creates the episodic narrative, which makes it easy to follow, which is what we wanted when carrying out the planning for our music video.
Yeah.
And I think it's an essential part to have.
Yeah.
But it also shows that our actor in the performance part was good at singing into the camera, and
that's another thing that we use that the majority of other music videos use, don't they?
Yeah, definitely.
They use the camera as if they're a person and they're talking to the person almost.
But it suited the song so well, didn't it?
Yeah, definitely.
Because it's such an indie song, the idea was to use an indie person.
Yeah.
What do you think that we didn't use that other ones did use?
I'd say we didn't use any black and white at all, perhaps.
Oh, yeah.
What, so no night filming or anything?
No, that's true.
You do see quite a lot of music videos today that they're maybe filmed at night time to give that sort of special effect, but
yeah. And to almost emphasise the story of it.
Yeah, and the passing of time. And
yeah.
I do think if you watch our music video though, it creates that sort of atmosphere that it's nice to have it in the bright daylight. It's sort of, the storyline suits the daylight rather than having it in a real dark theme.
Yeah, because we were going to go for that almost dark theme, weren't we?
Yeah.
Negative kind of mindset.
Yeah. But I don't think it would have suited the song. It wouldn't have been right having.
No, because it's almost like an upbeat song.
Yeah.
If it was a slow song, then the dark theme would have suited it better.
Yeah. But we didn't use more characters. You see in quite a lot of music videos today, there's extra characters maybe doing just something really minor or playing quite a major role, but we just had our narrative actor and then our performance actor. But I do think it suited it well. I think
it would have been too complex if we started involving other
too
ones.
Busy.
Yeah, even though we didn't use it, I think it knew.
Yeah, there was a sole focus, wasn't there?
Yeah. But I think, what do you think about the use of a handheld camera and stuff like that?
Makes it look really good, I think.
I think so. Yeah. It doesn't make it look really rigid and samey all the way through.
No.
Yeah.
I think because it is quite sort of like a vintagey. It has like a vintagey look to it. I think the sort of.
Yeah. For example, the last scene of our video.
Yeah.
Where it's, even though it's quite a long take, the last scene of it, because it's done handheld. And it's you're walking away from the actor.
It just seems really real life, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It doesn't seem
if that was all tripod, it would never have had the same effect.
It would be really block
it would have looked too staged.
Very.
I think with the song as well, you needed it to be quite.
Yeah, that particular moment.
Yes. Out of the blue, and I think it was carried out really well.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
What do you guys think about the maybe not resolving the story? Do you think that...
I don't know, because it was debatable whether we did resolve it or not, because even though in the narrative you never really saw what happened,
I think it's difficult.
It wasn't overly suggested either.
No, it wasn't as if we created a massive storyline where people wanted to find out what happens in the end. It was just, it did flow with the music, and although it was nice to have the story there, I don't think it needs to be a massive major 10-minute long music video.
No, yeah, because otherwise, if you were going to resolve the story, you'd end up having a short film in your hands with you.
Yeah, exactly.
With all the other stuff you'd put in it.
It would have seemed quite rushed as well, also, almost like you were to come to a conclusion by the end of the song, which in that 3.5 minute time gap would have been quite difficult, I think.
Yeah.
So do you guys think that we could have maybe taken any more risks to maybe make our video just that bit more out there, or are you quite happy with how it went and how it was finished with at the end? sort of
don't know. I was
taking
I was
it
quite
up
happy with it. I think there were things we could have done
when
to
you look back on
improve
it.
it,
Yeah,
but I think the improvements would have been hard to do.
to like
You know
sort
what I
of
mean?
develop
Yeah.
into it. Oh, I was really happy with how it was. I
Yeah.
didn't think we needed to overcomplicate it. So.
No,
Okay.
which if you see
Yeah.
in those other type of genres, a lot of the music videos are like very very simple and easy to follow, which is what we obviously tried to
exactly.
capture
Yeah.
initially. So
Yeah.
I think
It's
that
not
works
like
well.
it's like if we were doing, for example, a rock song,
Mm.
then the busyness of the video
Yeah.
would be
So many cuts as
Yeah,
well.
exactly.
Yeah.
You have got to take into account the song and how you are going to film it, and they do need to fit together.
They've got to
Yeah,
link, yeah.
exactly. Yeah.
And do you-
Okay. How do you feel about what we did that kind of went one step further than other music videos, like developed?
Well, part of our music video, we used jump cuts that were at the very beginning to emphasise, with the books piling up, to emphasise kind of the increased job and increased kind of workload for the teacher.
They did really work. I think they did emphasise
I think so,
the
yeah.
storyline of the
Yeah.
teacher and how he is struggling, and
Yeah, what,
yeah,
you wouldn't have been able to do that without developing it further. I don't
no,
think.
yeah. What did you think about the post-it note though? The post-it note bit.
That was really good.
Did you like that?
Yeah, I did like that. Did you like that?
yeah,
It sort
yeah,
of
I thought so, yeah.
shows it's like the knowledge behind it as well, of it building up in his mind, not only it being there in the music
Yeah.
video.
Yeah, the mind frame that
Yeah,
he was in,
yeah,
and it being
definitely.
building up constantly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah, and it refers then to the audience, like they understand that the jobs are piling up and piling up, so you know that the teacher's going to get more concerned about the jobs he needs
Yeah.
to
so I
do.
think if we hadn't have used the post-it note idea and maybe taken another risk, it would have taken it out of that safe zone, as people call it. But I
Mm.
don't think it would have suited
No.
and matched the song that we were
Yeah.
using.
I think the
it
narrative
really
would have been
well.
harder to follow without it as
Yeah.
well.
And if you
I
watch
think.
the music video, when it's at the post-it note scene, when they're put down, it matches like the tempo of the song, which I think
Yeah.
is really
Yeah.
good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
nice and quick.
Yeah.
Do you think the balance between the narrative and performance was
I think
more or less than a usual music video?
it's difficult to say really,
Yeah.
because some music videos don't have both. They have
One or the other?
yeah.
Yeah.
But
I think it was a pretty good balance actually throughout.
there was enough to tell what was going on,
Yeah.
and there was enough to see the singer singing. the
Yeah,
song.
I'd
Yeah,
say
so
so.
there was enough
Yeah,
to tell the difference
Yeah,
as well.
definitely.
I think so. Yeah, definitely.
Okay. And what do you think then that challenged the normal or the stereotypes of music video? What do you think we included?
We
that did that?
chose to, on one of the shots that we used, to repeat an action when the teacher was dropping the books, which was just kind of to emphasise the action.
Yeah, it was almost done in shots of three,
yeah,
wasn't it?
yeah,
When
yeah.
he drops them, it was like dun dun dun,
Yeah.
three different
And it's good
angles,
to have
three
things, I
different
think, in a
momentums.
list of three, because it just
Yeah.
shows that nice equal balance between
Yeah,
something
yeah.
happening there.
And it was almost like a traditional thing, like a list of three
Yeah,
that
yeah,
we had
definitely.
put it into our video that isn't
Yeah,
necessarily in other
Yeah.
music videos, which I quite enjoyed doing.
Yeah,
What about the long take at the end?
I think
that's
without
a
with
bit
the
non-traditional almost, isn't it?
but it suited it so well. Like
Ooh.
it was good to have it closing. It was like a closing scene, and I think it was suitable to match not only the song but also the narrative,
Yeah,
linking with the narrative and the performance. It was just nice to bring it to that end rather than it being a quick scene here, a quick scene there. I thought that long scene did really finish it well.
yeah. Especially in that, like you said, that particular part of the song.
Yeah,
Like you say, resolving almost the whole video, and it was done really well.
yeah.
So-
Considering it was done in one take, I was
Yeah.
quite surprised.
Yeah, yeah, managed to do really well.
what do you
Yeah,
guys
so-
think about not using instruments? Do you think that
Well, I don't know, because like the majority of indie artists, like Ed Sheeran, Ben Howard, or George Ezra, they
George Ezra,
all mainly input into their videos their guitar because they can play guitar.
yeah,
Mm.
And even though our chosen artist could, I think it would have been. I don't know if it
I
would have
think
been
maybe-
too much.
if we had our artist playing the guitar, I think we then may have had to have toned down the narrative.
That's
Yeah, it would
really-
be more based on
Yeah,
the
yeah,
performance
yeah.
and everything
But I
else.
think
They're more
because
dominant then.
yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
But because there wasn't that guitar there, we could focus on balancing the performance and the narrative, which I
Yeah.
think was
Yeah.
better.
Do you think it? Yeah, do you think it would have been more suitable to the genre if we included the guitar or now?
I think definitely could have worked if
Yeah.
we'd included it.
But I don't
I don't
think it
think
was
it's
a
bad
negative that we
yeah,
didn't use.
I don't.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. I don't think it was a problem that we didn't.
Yeah.
But we could have used
But
it.
that was our way of challenging it, you know.
Yeah.
We wouldn't have been able to challenge it if we had used a guitar. So I think it was good that we went without to see how it would
Yeah,
work.
see
Yeah.
how it works, and it worked really well in the end.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah,
Alright.
overall, I'm really pleased
Yeah.
with how our video turned out.
Okay, to top off, what is your favourite scene or moment from the video?
Mine would definitely have to be the last scene.
The last long scene with Ollie,
yeah. I think it's really good, and it just brings that closure towards. Although there's no sort of ending to the narrative, I think it does bring a closure to the music video.
Yeah, what about you?
I'd say those jump cuts with the piling of the books, actually, because I think that really emphasised that action, and it told the story of what was going through the mindset of the teacher, and it just brought together sort of the busyness and the mundane sort of jobs that he has to go through day to day, and it set kind of the ball rolling for the rest of the film music video.
Yeah. I think for me I was definitely torn between the very last one because it's just got so much emotion in it and so much feelings, and it's so out there and so in your face. Or it would be where it drops the books, because I like the idea of the shadowing, where we did it first off in the first minute or whatever, and then we did it again in the last minute.
When I
It
come to
just
think of it, I
shadows
do also like the post-it note scene.
Yeah, that goes throughout the video.
Yeah, like you say, it's the mindset, isn't it? I just think it
Yeah.
matches it really well.
Plus, it almost tracks through it as well. doesn't
Yeah.
it? Right. Okay. Now we're going to talk about our individual digipacks, what we use, develop, and challenge throughout them. So, if we start with Molly, do you want to talk us through yours?
As you'll be able to see, sort of, to start with my digipack, what I used was a consistency of a colour scheme. Sort of, it was used throughout the album, and it links to sort of the name of my digipack, which was Two Sides, and I thought that there was two sides to every story, but also when you look at the colour scheme to my digipack, there's also two sides, which is either going to the black side or going to the white side, and I just liked the grey that came in between the two. So that's
Yeah, I really like that about yours. I like the
how I
greyness
linked
of it
it
and how it.
the images that I used, I just wanted to keep it simple. I didn't want to overcomplicate things, but I wanted it to be, although it was simple, I still wanted it to be eye-catching, because obviously when it's on the shelf in the shop, it does need to sell.
Yeah.
But obviously the use of sort of eyeline captures and making sure you have the sort of the eye match of the artist can make such a simple image be quite powerful.
Yeah.
Which I did.
You've got that eye
Yeah,
contact.
yeah, I did insert that into my digipack, so I was happy with that one. The advert, I used another unpopular artist digipack to sort of, with my poster, to focus it on, and I used an artist from the same genre as mine to sort of help me get the very basics of my poster to sort of bring it together. With my development of my digipack, by creating the grayscale, I developed it by using the colour grey in all of the 4 panels. I thought it was important that if it did link to the name of my album, that I should use it in all 4 panels rather than just the front. So that was my development, and then finally with my challenge, I compared it to other artists, and I challenged the typical view that you'd expect to see on the cover of an album, and I used a simple image taken from a photo studio shoot of Hayden Brown, rather than associating the artist like what we'd see today with other artists, of them being and using a certain symbol or image on their album. I felt that I needed to use a photograph to sort of bring the up-and-coming artist together and sort of promote him out there. And that's why I did that. So,
Okay.
Yeah.
Ollie, do you want to go
Yeah.
next?
For my digipack poster and front panel, I actually used the same image, which was a close-up of my main artist, holding a pair of sort of goggles to his eyes, which matched my album name, Blinded by the Lens, which sort of like resembled the two really, which is sort of the reasoning behind that. And I thought the image for my poster was so strong. I changed the alignment ever so slightly, but I thought I should use it for my front panels. I thought it was that strong.
it was a really good image, I thought.
Yeah.
Very eye-catching, and it links with the name.
Yeah, definitely. That's why I kind of wanted to keep it in there, really. Also talked about the use of the prop, and yeah, the typography, I think, for my poster really helps it stand out. because the fact that I've used different fonts all the way through, even for my album name, the name of the artist, sort of the date, the website of the artist as well, it makes it much easier to read from a distance. So I know if
That's what you want, isn't it?
yeah, if you'd have used the same font all the way through, same size and everything, then it would have been very difficult to read.
Yeah.
And it wouldn't have had the same effect either. So I was really pleased with the way that came out. For my back panel, I've gone with sort of the idea of using the shape of my artist's head to fit all my songs literally in a line going continuously downward,
I think
vertically
that's so
downwards.
good.
Yeah.
Really good.
Yeah, so that worked really well.
It's almost like the songs are in his mind.
Yeah, you could look at it like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
I like
what's
that.
what's going to be next is coming in
Yeah.
front of his
And sort of my inspiration for that was the Ben Howard album called Every Kingdom, which used almost the exact same effects but without the use of the image of the artist. But he had used sort of all the songs aligned, despite the length of the words, they were all aligned essentially exactly the same. And Ben Howard is a very similar genre style of artist compared to the one that we've used. So I figured that would be kind of a good thing to use. For developing, I've used the prop all the way through all my panels, minus the last one, as I think, as it was so strong on the first image and the poster as well, this is what people are probably going to want to see within the digipack itself. Because if I was to get rid of it completely, people might question almost where's it gone and what was the relevance of it. So I'll develop that by having it in three of the four of my panels. And to challenge, I've actually used an inlay covering the inside two panels, which isn't normally apparent in most digipacks, which I think people might say for the image that I'm using as well, which is quite plain. I think it matches it quite well.
Yeah, I do think his digipack is a very strong-minded digipack.
Yeah, despite its simplicity, I think that's what these kind of artists have in their albums. A lot of it is very simple.
But it suits the genre as well. Like you'd find a digipack that has sort of overcomplicated stuff like neon colours and bright symbols in a different genre, like a pop genre.
Yeah.
To suit ours, you had to keep it. You did have to have that simple side.
Yeah, quite bland.
I loved the idea with yours where on your advert you had two sides of the advert. Like you had the front of his face with his lenses, and then you had the back, which had just like the additional information on it. I think taking that as well to digipack. The actual digipack worked really well.
Yeah, I mean, I could say it was difficult to challenge because I was always referencing to Ben Howard's album cover of Every Kingdom, but I figured to match the genre, I have to always refer to current artists, and obviously I want to kind of keep it relevant to them. So I found challenge quite difficult to cover, but that's simply because of how simple the genre was.
Yeah.
I think if we had a different genre, then we'd be able to challenge it.
I think so.
To another level.
Yeah, because the indie genre overall is almost so simple.
It's never been really risked,
it's
has it?
difficult to go past it and risk it.
I think so. Yeah.
Do you want to talk about yours?
Yeah. Anyway, for my digipack and digipack advert, when it came to what I used that other people used in theirs, I did the consistency of colours and theme throughout the digipack, like the strip of the
colour scale.
The coloured scale and the gradient of the thing.
Yeah.
I liked using that, and I liked taking that throughout the whole of the album and the advert. I also used a consistency of pictures, like in my on the advert. I used that in the digipack as well on the spare panel.
Yeah.
Amongst other
Because there is a I think it's more of a rock band. They've got their album cover and it's got the 4 different cartoon images on them.
Yeah.
Is it the Arctic Monkeys?
Something like
I think,
that.
and that is really, really good to see. Although it's 4 different people, with yours, you see 4 different sort of
emotions
and emotions body, which I thought was really good.
Yeah. I also used different fonts. I didn't use them too many different fonts, so otherwise it'd be too extreme and it'd be too in your face and it'd be really confusing. But I think it was about 2 or 3 in the end, just so you could like distinguish the difference between what was what.
Yeah, that's cool.
I linked the album name to the theme of my digipack as well, which was Colour Me In, which the idea of it actually came from the strip Colour Me In. But I think I was, for the develop bit of it, I think, because it was difficult to find things that my digipack developed, I thought that the name Colour Me In seemed almost too boy bandy,
Right.
which I thought of, and like it's almost too cheesy in some way.
You may find
which
that.
I don't know if
but
that was
I
developed
think,
it or not.
You know, you say about it being a boy band name.
Yeah.
I think it could have been, but because you've got that colour streak running through, it does have a link between what we see and what it is called. So
Yeah.
that's,
It's
I
been
think
implemented.
it does complement each
So
other.
it could even challenge it. Really.
Yeah,
Yeah,
really, definitely.
yeah, definitely.
Going back to what I used as well, I used obviously the copyright information which we all used.
Yeah.
Included in ours because it's kind of just makes it a bit more professional.
Yeah.
But I also used I did the use of opposite colours when it came to fonts. So for example, on the front panel of my digipack, the artist was wearing like a grey jumper, and it's very like subtle colours. And so the font I used on top of that was then white or just off
So they
white.
complement each
So
other.
they complement each other, but you can contrast and you can see the difference. When it came to what I used in my digipack challenged the stereotypes of others was an image of the artist on the front, which you also did as well, or which we all did, but you mentioned. It could be debated that it could be a challenge due to the majority of albums nowadays they don't have an artist on the front.
No.
For example, George Ezra, he didn't actually have it on his Voyage, Wanted for Voyage.
Ed Sheeran as well.
Ed Sheeran,
with
he
the
doesn't.
X, similar genre.
Similar genre. They all don't have a picture of the artist, but that could be due to how well known they are.
Because
Because
of
an
their
upcoming,
popularity.
yeah. Seeing this would be an upcoming artist, having a picture of him on there helped people recognise
To promote himself, doesn't it? It gets it out there.
Yeah.
People be like, oh, I know that person.
Yeah.
So do you think to round off we could maybe say individually whose digipack was the favourite?
Yeah, except you can't say your own.
No.
Ollie?
So out of mine and Molly's, what was your favourite, or which one do you think was more successful?
I'll give my own personal view. I thought yours, like the use of the grayscale was really good. Like the consistency throughout that worked really well.
Thank you.
And with how I thought, you say Colour Me In was the name of your... Yeah, I thought that you brought that out really well.
I think we can just give positives on everyone's digipack.
It's quite subtle, but as in the Colour Me In the strip, but it's noticeable, and you know it's there, and you know what it's been done for a reason. And I think the rest of it matches the genre of the artist as well. In terms of his clothing, he's also wearing like a grey jumper. Yeah. So I think it's not the background colours don't stand out too much from that. So I think it works really well actually.
Yeah. Well, with you two, obviously you've both got completely different digipacks, which is nice for me to judge because obviously Ollie uses his object, which is linked to the name of his album, and I liked the sort of how it's different. Yeah. It's not what you'd see every day, so I like the creativity of that. But to me, I do also like the name of your album and how it links to sort of what we see in your digipack. So I wouldn't be able to choose between the two, but I both think they've got differences that are both really good between the two of them. Yeah.
Yeah, for me, when it comes to Ollie's, I really like the use of the lens and the idea of his back panel where he's got the list.
Yeah, that's
so neatly done on the back of his head. It works so well, like you said.
Coming out of his mind.
It's almost like it's coming straight out of his mind. It's really good.
Yeah, never thought of that before.
And I really like that. I like the idea as well with your stretched image across one of the locations on your side of your digipack. I really like that. Like you said though, more because mine and yours are quite similar. Yeah. But I do prefer yours. Okay. Even though because I just I like the greyness of it, the grayscale that you've used. You've got your black and white strip, but it's in between and it's the two sides. Yeah. And I really like how not so obvious the title is, but it links so well to it.
Oh, thank you.
I think it's really clever. I really like it.
Okay, nice way to round off.
Yeah. Thanks for listening.
Bye.